the minute I can start, please.
We're ready to roll.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alan Steinbrecher, Chair of the Board of Trustees of the State Bar of California and Chair of the Board Executive Committee. This is a meeting of the Executive Committee, properly scheduled for today at 9 a.m. Now calling the meeting to order. Please, everyone, remember that we are webcasting. So when you please speak into the microphone and identify yourself by name when you do speak. We're going to take things just a little bit out of order. The first, well, let me also note that the time is 9:03 a.m. Commence the meeting. All right. The first is there's no closed session at the moment. Open session for public comment. Mr. McLeod, will you advise people how to make a public comment if they are so interested?
So I'm going to ask that we defer public comment for the full board meeting until we commence the full board meeting, and also perhaps call the roll and then defer public comment until we've covered the items that need to be covered by Mr. Broughton.
All right, Sarah, please call the roll.
I'm going to call roll on this one, and Ruben Duran. Ruben, I saw.
It dropped.
Oh, Renee LeBron.
Here.
Debbie Manning.
Here.
Sean Saleg.
Here.
And Alan Steinbrecher is here, so we do have a quorum even without Mr. Duran. So,
okay, we're going to go to our first order of business under item 3 because Mr. Broughton has to leave at about 9:20 to attend a court hearing, and he is presenting on items 3A, 3B, 3E. 3E, 3F, and 3I. So, Mark, over to you.
Thank you, and thank you for giving me a degree of a priority here. So this is item 54-114, which is item A, and it is, and all of these ones that I'm presenting are basically for suggestions for our annual appointments to various committees and commissions and that type of thing. So this particular one is for a recommendation for appointments to the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission. And I'm going to, since I'm not going to go into these in great detail because of time restrictions, I'll refer you to the agenda item itself if you want a little bit more information. But with respect to this one, there's one attorney vacancy and one public member vacancy. And in September of 2020, there'll be 2 additional attorney vacancies. So in case you don't know, I'm hoping you do, but Legal Services Trust Fund Commission is there to administer the revenue from their OLTA trust accounts to the various agencies that obtain those funds. And there are 4 vacancies to fill, the 3 attorney members and 1 public member, and they are listed along with their backgrounds and qualifications in the agenda item itself. So the motion would be for the executive committee that we recommend the board of trustees ultimately approve the appointment of Amin Al-Sarraf, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the names, and Eric Iskin, each as attorney members for 1 4-year term, and the appointment of Catherine Blakemore as an attorney member filling a vacancy due to resignation to serve out the remainder of the existing term through September 2022. And it's further recommended, or we ask that it be resolved that the board executive committee recommend that the board of trustees approve the reappointments of Banashe Aklagi as chair and Eric Iskin as vice chair of Legal Services Trust Fund Commission.
All right, let's take those 2 resolutions separately. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the first resolution.
So moved.
Was that
Mr.
Sean?
Duran? Was this Sean?
Yes, Sean.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Slegg.
And who seconded?
Debbie,
Debbie. All right.
yeah.
Motion by Sean Selig, second by Debbie Manning. Is there any comment or questions? Please take the roll.
Sean Sleg,
Yes.
Ruben Duran. Ruben Duran?
Yes. He sent a chat.
When I am displaying my screen, I can no longer see that feature. So that's a yes that he sent through chat.
He did.
Yes.
Terrific. Renee LeBron.
I'm recusing, please.
Okay. Debbie Manning
Yes.
and Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right. Passes. Thank you. The second part of the resolution regarding the appointments of the as chair and vice chair, may I have a motion?
Yeah.
So
So moved.
moved.
Okay, Debbie Manning moved, and who seconded?
I'll second.
Is that Sean?
And I will begin again
Yes.
with Mr. Slegg. That's a yes. Mr. Duran.
Thank you.
right.
I think I heard a yes from Duran. Ms. LeBron.
Yes.
Recuse.
Again, thank you. Ms. Manning
Yes.
and Mr. Steinbrecher.
Yes.
All right. The motion carries.
Okay, item 3B, Mark.
Thank you. This is the liaison's recommendation to, at this stage, the Board Executive Committee for members on COAF, the Commission on Access and Fairness. There are 5 vacancies that should be filled commencing at the close of September 2020 meeting of the Board of Trustees for 1 4-year terms. I won't go into it again in great detail, but COAF essentially is the State Bar's arm that deals with issues of diversity and inclusion. And you can read the agenda item once again. There were actually 25 applications for the vacant positions. There was one letter of interest received for the chair position and 2 letters of interest for the vice chair position. Again, all of those applicants were reviewed by staff, and the liaisons and the recommendations are contained in the resolution. There also, I might add, in the item are other applicants, number of whom were not selected, but they're excellent candidates, and I would perhaps encourage the COAF to look towards geographic diversity next time, so because we have a number of applicants from around the state. So I would ask that the executive committee approve the resolutions as presented in the item.
In the interest of time, we will vote on both resolutions at the same time unless anyone objects. May I have a motion to approve both resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
That was Renee LeBran moving and Debbie Manning seconding.
Sean Slegg.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. I think I jumped ahead. You need to.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was about to call the for the vote. Sean Slegg,
Yes.
Ruben Duran,
Yes.
Renee LeBron,
Yes.
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay. Item 3D, Client Security Fund Commission, Mark.
Okay, that's 116.
18.
Excuse me, 118. Okay, they're a little out of order from the event. This is the, again, the liaison's recommendation by review of staff of the Client Security Fund. We seek approval of recommendations for the appointment of the chair and the vice chair, 1 attorney member, and 1 public member of the Client Security Fund. And again, the Client Security Fund reimburses victims who have lost property or money as a result of attorney misconduct. Again, all of the applicants and individuals were interviewed or reviewed by staff and the liaisons, and we have made a recommendation for the appointment of those individuals in the item.
Okay.
You want me to name them, Alan?
No, we can have the resolution put up and then we'll see it. All right. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Yeah, I have a motion to,
So moved.
okay, I asked to both. All right, thank you. Second,
That's correct.
Second. Debbie seconds.
okay, Ruben Duran moved and Debbie Manning seconded. Unless there's any further discussion, Mr. McLeod, please call the roll.
Sean Saleg,
Yes.
Ruben Duran,
Yes.
Renee LeBron,
Yes.
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes. Thank you. All right, 3E, 54117, Mark.
Okay, this item deals with, again, the recommendation for appointments to COPRAC, which is the Committee on Professional Responsibility and Conduct. That particular committee deals with matters involving professional ethics. And for this year, the item recommends the appointment of 3 new committee members, along with the chair and vice chair. In addition, the item recommends reappointment of the current chair to serve as a special advisor to the committee. The bar received 15 applications in order to fill those 3 vacancies. And the item recommends those individuals who were selected by staff or recommended to serve those positions in the item. And we would ask that that be adopted.
Are there any questions for Mark? Could we have the resolutions put up, please? Okay, and then scroll down a little bit, please. Is that the entire content of the,
It is. So the
Yes.
officers here,
okay.
member appointments, special advisor, and alternate member appointments.
All right, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Renee.
Second.
Lebrand-
Duran, second.
Renee Lebrand moved and Ruben Duran seconded. Any further questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Sean Saleg,
Yes.
Ruben Duran,
Yes.
Renee LeBron,
Yes.
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes.
Motion
All
carries.
right. Item 3F, 54-111, Mark. The Commission on Judicial Nominees Evaluation.
That one actually, I was taken off that, so I'm not sure, Dag, if, and Juan isn't here, I don't believe. So I'm not sure if you can present that item.
I can certainly read the resolution. I am not familiar with the item, though. If Sarah Cohen is on the call, she
Yeah, that's right, Sarah's.
might be. But
Should we do the one that Mark needs? Or do you have the last one, Mark? Because you
I
only
have
have.
54-119, which is item I.
Maybe
Yeah, why
should
don't we
do that one.
take that one now? 3I, which is 54-119, and then you'll be done, Mark.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. This again is a recommendation regarding the California Board of Legal Specialization. It includes 7 members with up to 2 public members, all of whom are appointed by the Board of Trustees. The State Bar received 7 applications for appointment to the vacant positions, and 1 letter of interest for the chair position, and 1 letter of interest for the vice chair position. And you can see all of their qualifications and where they come from. And we would ask that you adopt the resolution with respect to appointing of those members.
Okay. We take a look at the resolution, please. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right, the chair will entertain a motion.
So moved, Duran.
Ruben Duran moves,
Second,
second
Renee.
by Renee LeBran. Any further comments? Please call the roll.
John Slegg, Sean Slegg,
I don't see him.
Sean had to step out. This is Sarah.
Ruben Duran,
Yes.
Renee LeBron,
Yes,
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Mark, I think that takes care of you. Thank you.
And thank you. I'll see you all at the board meeting. I hope around 10 o'clock.
Okay, good enough.
Thanks so much.
Mark. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's go back and see if there's any public comment. Dag, would you instruct anyone who's on the call who might want to engage in public comment as to the procedure?
Yes. So the first thing I would like to just note in terms of public comment is that this is the meeting of the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees. And so comment should be directed at items that are on the agenda of the Executive Committee. There will be an opportunity during the full board meeting to address items that are going to be heard by the full Board of Trustees at their meeting, which is on this same Zoom link, but which will begin immediately following the Executive Committee meeting. So at this time, I see one person who has indicated that they would like to give comment. Please note that to do so, if you're on the Zoom call through your computer, you should see a blue hand icon in the middle bottom of your screen. If you click on that, that will give us an indication that you're interested in giving public comment on something related to the Executive Committee meeting. And if you are on the phone, you can also indicate an interest, and we will see your interest by pressing *9 on your telephone. That's the star key plus the number 9. Having given those instructions, it looks like the person who had raised his or her hand has now lowered it. So I do not see any of the attendees indicating that they have an interest in giving public comment, and I'm going to guess that's because the interest relates to the full Board of Trustees agenda. So maybe if we give just a moment more for any of the people who are attending the meeting to indicate either by clicking on the blue hand icon or by pressing the *9 key that they're interested in giving public comment. We'll give you the opportunity. Otherwise, I think we're going to move back into the business part of the agenda. Chair
Yes.
Steinbrecher, I think it looks like we don't have anybody indicating that they would like to make public comment.
All right, thank you.
Dag, I'm sorry, excuse me, Dag, can you please check your chat message? Thank you.
Yes, there is someone who would like to speak. Ryan.
Mr. Harrison, we received a public comment, but I just want to confirm. So the item that you wish to address is on the Executive Committee meeting or the
and he says he wants to address the full board.
got it.
Oh, the full board.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we'll
All right.
when we convene, and I know it's a little confusing insofar as we're using the same Zoom link for the full board meeting as for the Executive Committee as well. But we will convene the full board meeting almost immediately following the Executive Committee meeting.
Okay. All right, then let's go back to our business agenda. And the first item up is item 3C, which is 54-116 California Rural Legal Assistance. And Elizabeth Hom, I believe, is going to report on that.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Hom, Acting Program Manager for the Office of Access and Inclusion, and actually my colleague, Crystal Bundang, who's on the call and I think should be able to unmute herself, will be giving the presentation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. First, I'd like to thank the board for your attention to this agenda item. So from time to time, the State Bar receives requests from multi-county federally funded legal services programs in California to appoint representatives to their boards. The Board of Trustees Policy Manual Section 4.15.3 authorizes the board to make appointments to non-State Bar sub-entities funded by the Legal Services Corporation. Staff has recently developed the following process to manage appointments. Organizations must provide relevant appointment information to be posted on the State Bar website, and based on applications received, they submit their appointment recommendations to the State Bar. The board would then review the recommendations, taking into consideration the applicant's professional experience, familiarity with legal aid and access to justice issues, and as with all State Bar appointments, the diversity of the applicants. California Rural Legal Assistance, or CRLA, is a nonprofit legal services organization that serves low-income individuals residing in 23 California counties. In addition to maintaining programs focused on farm worker populations, CRLA also serves individuals with disabilities, immigrant populations, skilled children, LGBT populations, seniors, and individuals with limited English proficiency. CRLA has presented a recommended slate of 3 new appointment candidates and 5 reappointment candidates to their board of directors to serve a 3-year term. Staff has reviewed CRLA's recommendations to confirm each applicant's skills, experiences, and perspectives in relation to both CRLA's mission and the State Bar strategic goals and objectives. We also reviewed the demographic information from CRLA's current and proposed board compositions, compared that to the diversity compositions of CRLA's clients, California's attorney population, and California's population statewide. As you can see in the chart on page 3 of the agenda item, CRLA's current board is heavily comprised of Hispanic and Latino members. This is actually reflective of the client population that CRLA serves, and it's notably larger when you compare it to the California attorney population, where Hispanic and Latino attorneys are most underrepresented. CRLA is also acknowledged working to improve outreach efforts in this area. Given CRLA's reasoning and committed efforts to board diversity, CRLA staff supports CRLA's recommended slate of appointment and reappointment candidates and recommends approval by the Board Executive Committee and Board of Trustees. Thank you for your time.
Right. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Bunding? We have the resolutions in front of us. Take a moment to read them, please, and then the chair would ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, this is Ruben Duran. I'll make the motion and just note that as with the rest of the appointments we've been making and items we've been working on this morning, the current public health crisis presents even more need and opportunity for volunteers like this to make meaningful differences in their communities. And so I just want to personally thank them for the work that they do for populations like that CRLA serves and throughout the state. So with that, I'll make my motion.
Thank you. And that's of the combined resolutions, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
Yes.
Is there a second?
It's Debbie, I second.
Great. Moved by Mr. Duran, seconded by Ms. Manning. Any other comments or questions? Mr. McLeod, please call the roll.
On Saleg. Is Sean returned? Has Trustee Saleg returned?
No.
Ruben Duran.
Yes.
Renee LeBron.
Yes.
Debbie Manning.
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes.
Motion
And
carried.
I join with Mr. Duran in thanking all of our volunteers who perform such vital services for the state of California and the pursuit of not only public protection, but access to justice and inclusion and diversity, all of our goals as the bar. The next item of business is 3G 54-112. Oh no, excuse me, it's F. Excuse me, F 54-111. Ms. Cohen, can you present on this? Is that my understanding?
I will, let me just explain that this was a bifurcated board liaison appointments review process. Mark Broughton was involved in the interview of the officers, but then had a conflict when it was time to make recommendations regarding the new members, alternates, and reappointed members. So Ruben graciously stepped in to act in Mark Broughton's place. So Ruben is here this morning to present
okay.
on that aspect. As for the officers, which Ruben was not involved with, it's all pretty well laid out in the appointments item. The chair recommendation is the current vice chair, Stella Nye, and the vice chair recommendation is current Jenny Commissioner Alana Arcurio. So that's how far we got by the time Ruben stepped in. So thank you, Ruben, for that. I really appreciate all the work you did last minute to put that together.
Oh no, I was glad to help. And Mr. Chair, I will just start by saying thank you to Sarah for the tremendous work she did on this important item. The Jenny Commission, although they do a lot of work behind the scenes, certainly I think we all know, and the public may not know how much work they all do. And so thanks to Mark for his work on settling up the officers piece of this, and thanks to Board Member Juan de la Cruz for assisting and helping me get up to speed, along with Sarah, for the alternates and the new members. There was quite a bit of discussion, and Sarah was good enough to go back and do some further work and present it to Juan and me for us to make our final decisions. Those are reflected in the staff report that's before the executive committee today. We, again, we just thank these volunteers for the important work that they do for the judicial system and the state in general. So with that, I will answer any questions.
May we have a motion?
So moved.
Debbie Manning move.
I will second it. Duran.
Ruben Duran second. All right, take a moment. And Mr. McLeod, please call the roll.
Sonsoleg. Ruben Duran.
Yes.
Renee LeBron.
Yes.
Debbie Manning.
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item is 3G 54-112. And Ms. Cohen, I understand you are presenting on this, the review committee of the Commission on Judicial Nominee Evaluations.
Yes, I'm presenting because this is really a technical appointments item. Just a refresher, our Jenny body is a 5-member body, 2 of whom are Board of Trustees members, currently Debbie Manning and Joshua Pertula, and the other 3 are non-board members, volunteers, generally former Jenny members, who, because of their Jenny experience, brings invaluable expertise to the process. And essentially, they meet whenever there is a request for reconsideration of a not qualified rating, so on an as-needed basis. The first aspect of this appointments item is to appoint current member Angelique Bonanno to the chair position. The chair position is titular, essentially, because there's not a lot of substantial responsibilities to that position. Mainly, it's to call the meeting to order, to call for the vote to rescind or not rescind, perhaps make a presentation on our Jenny at the Jenny orientation meeting, and when necessary, mentor new members as part of the onboarding. The chair rotates to the most senior member of our Jenny outside the Board of Trustees members, and there are 2. David George, who is the current chair, and Angelique, and they agreed last year that David George would take this year and Angelique would take the coming year. So that's the first aspect of this, is to appoint Angelique Bonanno as the chair for the 2020 to 2021 Our Jenny year. Then the second aspect of this technical item has to do with term length. Right now, the 3 non-Board of Trustees members each serve a 3-year term. Appendix I review set forth a standard term across all sub-entities of 4 years, except for Jenny. And so although the new 4-year term length was in place in 2018, our Jenny members continued to be appointed for only a 3-year term starting in 2018 and 2019. That was my mistake. This item corrects that mistake by extending the terms of David George, Angelique Bonanno, and Jody Nunez by 1 year, so that they will be serving a total of 4 years.
All right, are there any questions for Ms. Cohen? Can we see the resolution, please? All right, may I have a motion to adopt both resolutions?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. LeBran,
Second.
Duran,
second by Ms. Manning. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Staleg, Ruben Duran,
yes.
Renee LeBron,
Yes.
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Next item is 3H, Judicial Council of California withdrawal of appointment and appointment of member 54-113. Ms. Cohen, I believe you're speaking on this again.
Yes, again, this is a technical item, which is why it's not being presented by the appointments liaisons. The purpose of this item is to address a unique situation not typically seen in your standard appointments item. You may recall that at the last board meeting in May, you had the Judicial Council regular appointments item come before you and with a recommendation to reappoint current Judicial Council member Rachel Hill and to appoint new member David Fu. And you will know from the agenda item that we have received information in the last year or so that the Supreme Court prefers reappointing current, productive, well-performing members of the Judicial Council. That is their preference. They consider that to be the most helpful and productive way to move the work of the Judicial Council forward. So this year there were 2 Judicial Council members who were terming off, Rachel Hill, who you reappointed, and then the other one is Gretchen Nelson. And initially she had not expressed an interest in being reappointed, wanting to sort of open up that special opportunity for other volunteers, but subsequently in conversation with the court, reconsidered and agreed to serve another term. So lacking that information at the May meeting, the board appointed David Fu in May to fill that vacancy. And I will say that, you know, my understanding of what happened is it was simply a miscommunication, likely attributable to the confluence of the Judicial Council appointments process occurring, you know, at the same time that the pandemic hit and before the court and the bar were consumed with the planning required for continued operations and all the issues that came up. And so Gretchen Nelson's reappointment information did not rise to the top of that cluster. And so both the court and the staff reached out to Mr. Fu. He was very gracious. He was very understanding. The court has plans for him yet to be determined. And so I am here today to ask you to withdraw Mr. Fu's appointment and to reappoint Gretchen Nelson.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions for Ms. Cohen? Can you put up the resolutions, please? Are there any questions or comments on the resolution?
So moved.
Debbie? Oh, right, moved by Ms. Manning,
Yes.
Second, Duran.
second by Mr. Duran. Please call the roll.
Council Legg,
Yes.
Ruben Duran. Oh, thank you, Mr. Staleg. Ruben Duran,
Yes.
Renee LeBron,
Yes.
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher.
Yes,
The motion carries.
thank you. Our final item on the agenda today is 3J, approval of addition to legislative priorities. That's 119.1, and Ms. Katz is going to present on this. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Steinbrecher. This item requests approval to submit a letter in support of SB 1447, which was authored by Senator Bradford, who's the chair of the Senate Banking and Finance Committee. And this item, SB 1447 contains a number of provisions related to the Homeowners Bill of Rights. The specific part of that the board supports, that the bar supports, has to do with a provision that prohibits mortgage consultants, mortgage assistants from collecting fees in advance of providing assistance to homeowners seeking mortgage foreclosure assistance and avoidance. And that was unintentionally sunsetted, that provision. And so that would restore that, creating a cause of action for discipline, a cause for discipline. And we did receive a letter or a copy of a letter that the Consumer Attorneys of California sent to Senator Bradford, opposing it on the grounds that it provides for mandatory discipline. That it does not actually provide for mandatory discipline. It provides a cause for discipline. And our Office of Chief Trial Counsel supports this, having that specific cause for discipline for attorneys who charge advance fees for providing that foreclosure assistance.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Katz? So this is a bill that restores a provision that was originally in the legislation, that was intended to remain in the legislation, but which was inadvertently sunsetted, and this simply restores that provision. Is that the some substance of it, Ms. Katz?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Please post the resolution. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. LeBrun,
Second.
second by Ms. Manning. Any further comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sean Saleg,
Yes.
Ruben Duran, Ruben Duran, Renee LeBron,
Yes.
Debbie Manning,
Yes.
Alan Steinbrecher,
Yes.
and the motion carries.
That concludes the agenda for the Executive Committee meeting. I'm calling it closed at 9:39. We will go immediately into the board meeting unless any member would like to take a brief break.
I vote for a brief break.